Oh boy, oh my god, Namdarian here. Guess what? Kablam! I know you can't really tell. Just got my vaccine. So I got it. Now I just chilled for a bit. Now I'm getting this video done. Wah! Anyway, this video is about the distinction between not being loved versus the distinction between not being liked. Because it's incredibly important to sort of recognize the difference between the two. So on this channel, you'll often, if you watch a lot, or if you follow along, or maybe this is your first video, who knows? But often we'll talk about the idea that often these emotions that we have, stuck emotions, tend to be lenses in which we view the world. So for example, if you are stuck feeling like you are unloved, often what will happen is we have these unloved glasses on, and everything we tend to experience might contribute to that. So, you know, someone might be like, oh, I didn't get invited to this party, they're silly. Or someone else might be like, oh, I didn't get invited to this party, therefore I am unloved. And someone who is going through a lot of particular turmoil in a particular situation, whatever situation that might be, we eventually end up accruing all of these points, if you will, these experiences, to almost prove our point. Like, I've got all these experiences, why I'm unloved. Therefore, I must be unloved. Take those glasses off, however, heal that perspective, heal that emotion, and we start to see things almost as cause and event, or cause and effect. This happened, that happened, it's not really against me, it's not personal, that's just how life is. The video today I want to really talk about, though, is the feeling of not being liked, because that itself can be its own unique experience. Or because, truth be told, and this for some people might be mind-blowing, and for other people be like, shut up, Sharam, I know what you're talking about. No one necessarily has to like you in order to love you. And it's the same thing the other way around. They don't have to like you. So the other way around, they don't have to love you in order to like you. For example, you can like someone and not love them. You can be like, they're a cool person, but I don't like them, or I don't love them. The other way around. I love this person, but I don't like them. I know a lot of people might have that with their parents, for example. They love their parents, but lordy, do not want to spend time with that person. So it's really important to make that distinction between the feeling of being liked and the feeling of being loved, because those two are not necessarily the same thing. When we go down this path of emotional healing, in whatever perspective of whatever journey that might be for you, it's really important to consider that the feeling, like in situations where you feel unloved, that is to be healed. That is not true. Or it might be true, but a healed perspective might be okay with that. But then to look also at situations where you don't necessarily feel like you're liked. Because as you slowly heal those perspectives, as you heal that reaction to that not feeling liked feeling, you will be open and ready and willing to see situations, no matter how small. Before I took a break, I used to yell the word Manusa. Manusa, Manusa, Manusa. Meaning, like, what's the smallest particle, if you will, of something. So, for example, the smallest particle of being liked might be someone lending you their energy. But it will be different for different people. For example, what's the minutia of being loved? For you, it might be different to me. I know, for example, when I'm a dating coach, when I'm put on my dating coach hat, and I'm working with people specifically without the lens of healing, often people might be like, oh, that person doesn't like me. And through my healed perspective, I will politely suggest to them, they're still around. They are still around. They haven't run away, because with some cultures, for example, they're particularly shy, and that's okay. What ends up happening, though, is if we get these feelings confused, the feeling of not being loved and the feeling of not being liked, we can lump it all together, and that's probably what some people need. But as you slowly start to heal these aspects of yourself, you'll be more available, more aware, more inclined to notice and perceive the minutia of what it is to be liked and what it is to be loved. For example, with these videos with myself, I've talked about this in the past with myself, where I would struggle. I would struggle with people's comments. I would be like, oh, someone commented, they didn't love me enough. That was my lens. It wasn't the feeling of not being loved, but that key word. And this was a huge breakthrough for me. The key word of not being loved or liked enough. that I was unwilling to meet someone where they were at, in some sense, for new people. Old people, it didn't really matter. I knew that they loved me, I knew I loved them, it's fine. For new people, oh, they said this to me. Well, they liked me, but they didn't like me enough. And so we have this clarification. Often when I find when I'm working with people, they have this thing, they're like, oh, they're just being nice. They're just being nice because they have to be, or because they like me. And it's like, so what? They're just, because you could say that. Someone who is struggling might say they're just being nice because they have to be, because they like me and they're obliged to, you know? Someone else might say they're being nice because they love me. And that's fantastic. So it's really worth considering the clarification and the parallel between the two. A healed perspective is capable of witnessing love at love's term. A broken or a wounded perspective starts to mold it. It's like, how do I change it? How do I alter it? Now, there's nothing wrong with trying to change or alter it. I want to share that because you might be someone who is alone in your house, wishing for more friends or a family or a person, where wishing for them to come into your life. That might be you. I don't know. This is a video. Fourth wall break. On the other hand, you might be someone who is completely surrounded by people in your life, and you might feel like, hey, I'm not loved enough. And it's like this feeling of enough, this feeling of not enoughness. They don't love me enough. They don't like me enough. These lenses, no matter how much someone gives to you, it will be perceived as not enough. So what do? We end up putting it in the not enough basket. Here is a hefty example of not enough. Ho, ho, ho. And so as a result, we halter our growth. Or we are not who we're meant to be because I'd say most people are probably someone who want to be loved. Not necessarily liked. Not everyone wants to be liked. But we don't thrive when we're not loved. What was it? World War II, they took babies away. World War I, World War II, they took babies away from the parents so they could raise them individually. And some of these babies died. Failure to thrive syndrome without the nurturing love and care. So it's like, just like you water a plant, the plant needs sunlight, the plant needs water and the nutrients from the soil. We humans, we need love. I'd say I need likeness. I like to be liked. I like it. I like liking likes too. We need a lot of things. We need food. We need water. Some of us, we need career progression. Some of us don't. Some of us need that to a point and then we stop. And that's the whole point of my work when it comes to sharing healing. It's this perspective of understanding who and what we are and who and what we're meant to be and bridging the gap between the two. And recognizing that a lot of the barriers between what we are trying to create in life is just us as people blocking ourselves. That we are stuck in emotions. That someone somewhere along the way taught us to not feel. And I am here yelling and screaming, feel, do not modify. The act of surrender is the act of surrendering to your emotion without trying to modify it or trying to change it or trying to push it into something else. Because once it is done, once that cycle is complete, we are free, utterly and amazingly free. So as healing with all parts of your life, you might find that, hey, okay, cool, the feeling of not being liked is huge, it's immense, that you have to go through and individually feel all the aspects of it, that it keeps coming up no matter how much you heal it. But as it comes up and you heal it, as it comes up and you heal it, you are free more and more and more. And pretty soon, without even recognizing it, one day you'll be more available to see how someone likes you, how someone loves you enough in the smallest possible way. The feeling will be more and more and more. You yourself will be more and more free. And as you start to then collect experiences in the right basket of your subconscious mind, where you start to feel and allow the feelings of loved and liked and loved enough and liked enough and whatever might be the particular blockage that you are lacking for your whole life. Or not. Because not everyone has blockages. I'd say everyone has blockages. It's like the way to look at it is like, if you're not there yet and if you're struggling, there's a blockage. Otherwise, you'd be doing it, if that makes sense. So we start to allow ourselves to collect these experiences and slowly more and more and more and more and more and more and more, we are available for growth. because we have now a new basket full of experiences that were always there. One of my favorite things when I'm working with people is like they'll have a breakthrough, right? They'll have this amazing breakthrough and suddenly they spend like a week or two literally rethinking and recategorizing the past emotions, taking all of these stuff out of the I'm not loved enough and they're putting it in the I'm loved, because they start to realize, wait a second, they've taken off the lenses and they start to look at that basket and realize, hey, wait a second. So-and-so saying to me that this whatever it might be, actually, they weren't trying to be mean to me. They were actually trying to be nice to me. And suddenly it's pushed in this new perspective. What I love about this is eventually then we look at those people who we thought loved us the least or liked us the least or hated us, and we start to see them from their own terms. And that is someone who is just like us, struggling, living, growing, thriving, dare I say, just trying to do their best with whatever they have available. And when we reach this part, from a lot of intensities, we are whole and we are free. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, because I like likes and I like liking likes. I'm completely okay with that. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. I do have an online course that's available. It's currently available on my website. Actually, I have 3, but if you don't know, there's one called Unlock Your Desires. That's currently, it's about, I think it's a 7-day course, I'm not quite sure. It's all about surrendering to particular desires you have, because sometimes we don't necessarily know what they are. So it really is it's an introduction to surrender. It's also an online course that helps you open yourself up to suppressed desires, to open themselves up to who we are. I did a vote maybe last year about what course it should be, and that was the one that won. So thank you so much for watching. Tune in to you soon. Bye.